So you know how there's dumb arguments, and then you know how there's really dumb arguments that when someone is asked to actually try to argue their point, they literally tell you things that are 100% not factual, and they back it up with, well, in my opinion, or well, my circle, or well, these people, because there's no facts to back it up. They have to resort to how this little niche thinks because they're a part of it. And of course, with the massive success of the MCU, I've seen quite a few people and articles and websites talking about how Marvel has already reached their peak and now it's all downhill after Avengers Infinity War. And this is just completely stupid, to say the least, but let's take a, I guess, more in-depth look at this and why these people are 100% wrong. So first and foremost, there is no other brand like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It does not exist. Star Wars only wishes it could be Marvel Studios at this stage. Marvel Studios isn't built on a few generations of fans like Star Wars, which happens to be a smaller fan base than Marvel Studios right now. Marvel literally has pretty much everybody that's watching movies right now going to see these films. They're bringing their children. Their parents are coming with them. It is a franchise that has transcended what it means to be a movie franchise. And just to look at the connected universe it has. TV shows that are out there, Netflix shows, there's way more many things coming. There's franchises that are spinning off out of these films. There's franchises that are building up solo movies that are going to be taking part in it. And in the future, the acquisition of Fox is only going to give them even more. And going off of that, there is no competition for them. The only possible competition that they had was DC, or the DCEU, and that went nowhere. It really did. I mean, Justice League, DC's version of the Avengers, well, okay, I know someone's going to correct me. Look, I know, the Justice League came first in the comics. Nobody cares. Which one is the most successful in the movies? That's the one people care about. So Justice League, DC's and Warner Brothers' attempt at recreating Avengers' success fell flat on its face. That's fact. It's the lowest grossing movie in the DCEU. Ant-Man, Thor, Black Panther, Captain America. These characters are more profitable than the Justice League. That tells you the amount of power. So they don't have any real competition. I mean, what else is going to compete? The Dark Universe? Is The Mummy 2 going to make money? Certainly not. The Star Wars movies aren't making as much as the Marvel movies, and that's the second biggest competitor to the Marvel throne, and that's also owned by Disney. So they don't care which one's number one and which one's number two in the world. It's both their franchises. Which brings me to the next point. Marvel Studios has figured out how to handle the future. Let's, for example, take Phase 1. Phase 1 didn't necessarily make as much money as DCEU's Phase 1. We know that. We know that's a fact. But look at what they did. They put out Captain America. It made just enough money to warrant a small financial margin, but they stuck with it. The Incredible Hulk, that wasn't a big hit. That was a problem with Universals, but they stuck with the Hulk. You look at Iron Man, that was their biggest success in Phase 1. You look at Thor, once again, small profit for margin, but they hit it and they stuck with it. The sequel made more money. The third one made way more money. So Marvel Studios, in that time, figured out, well, why don't we just produce movies on other characters that are going to appear in other characters' movies and these bigger team-ups, and then when they get to their own films, they're going to be a huge success. And let's try new franchises while we're at it. Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, Black Panther. These are examples of franchises that were started with so much doubt going towards them. I mean, just a reminder to how much hatred Guardians of the Galaxy got from its initial announcement to even the first trailer. People were just ready to hate that movie. 2 weeks before Guardians 1, there was of course the 30 minutes that was shown to people all out of sequence and order, and people were hating the movie saying, wow, this is going to be the first bomb. And then it comes out and completely changes your mind. Marvel has built a formula that works and a formula that people want to see. People want hope. People want optimism, and in a world and age today where you can't have any of that, and everybody seems to still want to shove that dark, grim aesthetic down your throat when you're already living in a world where you can't have escapism, that doesn't make sense. Marvel has figured out, let's give you bright colors, let's give you fun, let's make you enjoy this movie and ignore the world. We need to put politics or anything like that in your movie. And when we do, we're going to try to make sure it's built up properly, so it has time, so you know what everything stands for, and when it happens, it's going to have an effect. That's why people walked away from Infinity War super depressed, because the characters they grew up with over the last 10 years are suddenly found in predicaments you never see comic book movies in. They're dying. They've been defeated. The villain has won. And then these people say, well, you can't carry a franchise without the people that started it. Robert Downey Jr. has to stay around. Chris Evans has to stay around. Hemsworth has to stay around. And I ask you, do they? Robert Downey Jr., he's gone to other movies and they've done great. He's also had bombs. Chris Evans? What's his last big movie that's not one of these MCU films? Snowpiercer, maybe? Go look at the box office for that. Chris Hemsworth, outside of Thor, how many bombs has he had that have completely tanked in the box office? I'll give you a hint, it's all of them. The Marvel character is the strength of this brand. The actor has made it their own, but that can always change. Now, I'm not saying Marvel is going to recast, because that'd be stupid, but these characters are evolving. This is an evolving universe. The fault that other studios have had is they go, okay, so we just finished Batman, we're going to do Batman again, and after Batman, we're going to reboot Batman. People are getting sick of the same characters. Marvel has found that way to introduce these new characters so you're never bored. That's why people don't want another Iron Man. That's why Marvel Studios doesn't want another Iron Man. Because Iron Man has already had his time. He needs to be put on the back burner, let other people get ahead, and then if Iron Man comes back, he comes back. But by the time he does, people will have wanted more Iron Man. That's the thing. The only reason Spider-Man has succeeded with Homecoming is because it's finally the MCU version. If this would have been another solo Sony reboot, that movie would not have made as much as any of the other MCU films or any of the other Spider-Man reboots, and this is factual. Just look at the trends of these movies. And when people start questioning, well, what can the future of Marvel really hold without some of these cornerstones that have built it? And I just say, what exactly do you mean? Doctor Strange. Have you seen how much money that movie made and what the profit margins were? And how much more fanfare he's gotten in the movies he's appeared since his own solo outing? If Doctor Strange comes out 6 years after the original film, people will have just grown more hungry for that character. Not to mention the X-Men are coming, and they're going to make some bold and crazy casting choices. And it's going to work. People will be talking about it, good or bad. And when has Marvel cast one of these MCU heroes and completely made you go, yeah, I don't see that character? That they definitely failed as that after you see the movie. Not once. Not once has that happened. Anytime people doubt them, they always come back. They are batting literally 19 movies now? 19 for 19. Yes, at some point you're going to have to miss. You're going to get struck out, but it doesn't seem to be slowing down. And as long as they have a formula, as long as they have a plan and they keep sticking to it and they stick to what works, it's going to work. There is no way that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to suddenly crumble after Avengers 4. As a matter of fact, I'm willing to bet that once Avengers 4 is over, it's going to look better than ever. You can quote me on that. And a reminder, all you people that insulted me and said I was full of bull when I said Thor Ragnarok would beat Justice League, when I said Batman v Superman would make nowhere near as much as Civil War, when I said Ant-Man would be more popular than Superman, give it 3 years, how many hate memes and things out there were there about it when I was saying those things? And I proved you all wrong. And I proved you that agreed with me right. You have to look at the patterns. Just look at what the people want and look at how it's going. Marvel Studios is not going anywhere. And give it by 2025, this brand will be, without a shadow of the doubt, the biggest franchise in every single outlet it tackles. From streaming TV to TV shows to movies to comics.